In this video I will quickly go over the strengths and the weaknesses of the Luftwaffe planes of the Battle of Bodenplatte game. This video won't be a full-fledged, super detailed tutorial, however I just want to get a video out where you get the basics of all planes and can compare it against the opposition, so you have like a little useful tool to improve your gameplay in Bodenplatte. But let's get going with the Bf-109 G14. The Bf-109 G14 is comparatively speaking a slow aircraft in the plane set, being performance-wise basically just a Bf-109 G6 with MW50. It inherits all the aerodynamic penalties of the G6. It can be catched by most Ally fighters in a straight line, with the exception of the 100 octane Spitfire and the P-38. However, the G14 proves its usefulness in other areas. The acceleration and climb rate is still much better than the Allied fighters, with the exception of the Spitfire again. But it can outmaneuver the P-51 for example, and doesn't need to hide against the others. So the Bf-109 G14 is still a totally fine aircraft in the plane set. You will do fine if you follow some basic rules and use your strength to your advantage. Bf-109 K4. The Kurfürst is an aerodynamically refined aircraft with upgraded engines in comparison to the G14, featuring a DB605DB or DC engine with massively more power in comparison to the G14. It outclimbs everything on the battlefield with the exception of the 150 octane Spitfire and is almost as fast as the 11-pound Tempest, outpacing out accelerating everything else. However, the K4 feels less maneuverable than the G14 and feels kinda sluggish, especially at low speed. The K4 has no option to install the 20mm cannon and comes with a 30mm cannon Mk108. So good gunnery skills are mandatory to shoot down fighters, since the bullet velocity of the 30mm is very slow. Focke-Wulf 190A8. The last iteration of the Anton series we have currently in the game is the workhorse of the Luftwaffe. However, the 8 is slow and sluggish at low to medium speeds, climbs worse than anything other in sight, certainly not competitive as a fighter in a fight against the opposition. However, it's great fun to fly and just to smack planes out of the air with a good armament, and it's just hilarious to surprise cocky allied planes who think you are easy prey. The roll rate is still excellent and can be exploited wonderfully, but it's generally speaking not the plane for serious business in an air-to-air roll. But it can carry a huge variety of bombs and rockets and stuff. You can knock out a lot of stuff on the ground. It's basically now the Stuka of the late war. Serious business, however, is the Focke-Wulf 190 D9 Dora. New engine, now liquid cooled, is quite a bit faster than the 8 and is a bit faster on the deck than the DB powered K4. Climbs better, for example, than the P-51, Tempest and P-38 and has surprisingly good maneuverability. It's like the Bf-109 and the Focke-Wulf A had a child. The roll rate is still excellent, maybe a bit slower than the Antons, but the acceleration is fantastic and much better than the acceleration of the Tempest and the P-51. The armament sometimes feels a bit lacking, even though it features two 30mm machine guns and two 20mm cannons. Noteworthy of all Luftwaffe planes is the ability to power dive. While most Allied planes can technically follow the German planes, the Allied models start to shake and become unpleasant to fly much earlier, mostly around 800 kph, 500 miles per hour. The German planes are still pretty stable at that speed, and some planes like the 51 and the 38 even start to lose parts and lose their aerodynamics. For example, but this is a topic for the next video, the 51, if losing the wheel door covers, loses about 100 kph on the deck, which basically puts it back to G6 levels. The Me-262 Schwalbe. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that plane. I guess most of you will know about it pretty good, but oh well, let's go. It was the first operational jet, and like all leapfrog technologies, it has major advantages over the old stuff and major disadvantages since there was no experience with the new technology. The 262 is massively faster than anything else in the sky. Even when a prop fighter dies on the 262, the chances are high that the prop plane can't get guns on before the jet is out of range again. With almost 200 kph headroom to the closest enemy prop plane, you can cruise around the map virtually unstoppable. Now, the drawbacks. It's hard to get on that high speed. The acceleration is much worse than on prop planes. The climb rate is really nothing to talk about. So the 262 is most vulnerable after takeoff, in the climb out, or at landing when just slow in general. So, like in reality, the tactic to shoot 262s down is to wait until they have to land, or to basically wait in areas where the 262s are climbing to their altitude. That was done in reality. This is done in game right now quite often. But this is it for this short rundown. In the next video, hopefully next week, we will talk about the Allied planes. Subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss out. I hopefully see you in that video. Bye bye.